From 1908 to 2023, the Manila-based federal government would pack up and trek north to Baguio City, establishing the nickname the summer capital of the Philippines. This week, we're following in their footsteps by catching a ride from our own home in BGC and making the drive up to experience the sights and bites that make Baguio such a popular tourism destination for Filipinos and foreigners.
We have had thousands of comments telling us that we need to check out Baguio, so here we are.
Took us about 4.5 hours to get here. Actually, we just stopped off for lunch on the way, but it was really convenient because we got to take this van. Albert is our driver, and he's gonna be our driver for the entire trip. He's coming up here and staying in the same area overnight for the 2 nights so that he can drive us around all 3 days that we are here. That's super convenient. He's with Toyota Mobility Solutions, so they're the ones who rented the van to us, but typically it's gonna be a self-drive rental situation. So Albert's driving services are an add-on to that rental. But what a great way to get around to see the entire area, because we're gonna be doing a lot of driving. It's a whole lot better than being stuck in a little Grab or in a little car. Instead, we've got this nice spacious van where we each get our own room.
We're staying at Tudor in the Pines, and it's inspired by their owner's trip to England where they saw this style of architecture, they fell in love with it, and they wanted to bring it back to Baguio. They have 6 total places to stay, little different homes. We're staying in the Forest Terrace. One of the more popular units are the tree houses, and that sleeps only 2. Of course he found one. How long did it take you to get that guy? Yeah, we've been here 30 seconds. We just arrived.
Yeah, stinky dink.
So the units will sleep from 2 people all the way up to 10 people. So no matter the size of your party, you could probably find some accommodations here. It's not a hotel or resort, it's a short-term rental, and you can book that through Guide to the Philippines.
And right outside our door, they have like 4 parakeets. They're like mini parrots.
Forest Terrace is a 3-bedroom unit, and we'll have to give you a full tour later. We're just dropping our bags and we're heading out for our first tour around Baguio.
This is pretty adorable. Concrete all over, I like that because it's nice and durable. It's an entire wall of windows. All right, can't wait to explore, but like Aaron said, we've got to get out there and explore the city a bit. For our tours for this entire trip, we are working with a local company, and it is called Agityang. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. And we've got 2 tour guides with us today. This is Jean Deal, and the owner of the company is Jen.
Mabuhay.
Now they're both gonna be with us today, but then tomorrow and the next day, we're gonna be working with one of the other employees guides from the company. His name is Art. We'll introduce you to him tomorrow. Now Jen actually has another name, and what is it?
Oh yeah, my name is also Suligmay. That is my Igorot name because I'm a native of the Cordillera Administrative Region. We are called collectively as Igorots, or to be safe, you can just call us the Cordillerans. So that's what you call the natives of the Cordillera Administrative Region. Thank you.
Super cool. So we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come along with us today. It's going to be really good.
So I'm very excited to bring you guys around the Cordillera region, but it starts here first, here in Baguio City. And I will be showing you not just the beautiful sceneries of Baguio, share to you the history and of course the rich heritage of the region. So I'm so excited to have you here and welcome, Mabuhay.
Let's do it.
We're gonna begin at the Botanical Gardens. Now, Jen just gave us a ton of information about Baguio and its history in the car. I'm gonna see if I retained enough of it. But it really started with the Spanish colonization, or at least the attempt of the Spanish trying to colonize Baguio, beginning in the 1500s, but the Spanish had a hard time colonizing this area because they were known as fierce warriors. It wasn't until the 1800s that they actually used burning villages in order to conquer it. And then the Americans came around in 1898 during the Treaty of Paris, where the Spanish then sold or handed over the Philippines to the Americans. And that's when the US occupancy started here.
One of the aspects to the Botanic Gardens is that they have a series, like 7 to 10, I don't know exactly how many, different areas that are dedicated just to their friendship cities around the world. So we are on our way to San Francisco, which is one of 2 US cities that are represented here. Oh, don't pick any flowers. Not here and not anywhere in Baguio City because it is against the law and you will have to pay 5,000 pesos.
Also make sure not to light any cigarettes because smoking, either cigarettes or vaping, is not allowed at all. Don't do it. And still, for your health, don't do it. With a real quick detour in the succulents and cactus area, the cactuses became really popular during the pandemic. People got interested in botany, and there's one type of cactus, it's called the golden barrel. That's worth 25,000 pesos, which is about, let me do the math, 450 bucks? Phil says $436. I was super close. I have a joke for you. Why are there so many cacti? Because there's no I in cactus. I made it up. I tried. It was a good effort, but then it's like once I said it out loud, it wasn't a good joke. Anyway, so.
Now, for some period of time, this wasn't just a botanical garden, it was also a zoological garden, but they don't have the animals here anymore. Got rid of all of them. Maybe it was just too cold weather for them. I don't know.
One of the tribes in this region is Ifugao, and this is a typical hut that they would have. It's like an inverted pyramid, and it's very strategically designed. And this is a miniature version of that. But the stairs here can be removed, so when they go in their hut, they avoid any pests or snakes from being able to climb up into them. And also, right here, this is called a rat guard because it prevents the rats from climbing up and getting to the hut. Just this little ledge here, that's enough to stop a rat.
But I think I'll have my stairs on at all times in hopes that I'll wake up with a snake in my bed.
Oh my gosh, who says that? Who does that?
Me. I do it.
I think Brooklyn would put extra rat guards on her post. So what Colt was just sporting right there is the traditional textile of the Cordillera region, and it's called ikat, and the more traditional one apparently is the black and red striped that you see right here.
There is a headdress that went with it, but he just got his hair done, a little perm, a little cut, so he's like, no, don't put it on my head. And we're getting into some of the friendship gardens, starting with San Francisco in California, USA. And that takes me back to where I left off with the history in Baguio. When the Americans took over, they wanted to use Baguio as the summer capital. So that was really the beginning of that term, of Baguio being the summer capital of the Philippines. And they wanted it for rest and relaxation for their troops. They also took a lot of the land and gave it away, and that was not their land to give away. It belonged to some of the locals. Interestingly enough, I think this is fascinating, that they challenged that in the Philippine Supreme Court and lost, but then they went to the US and they won in the US Supreme Court.
The same argument has been used extensively ever since, and it is called the Ancestral Land Doctrine.
So some of the other friendship gardens are right here, the Vaughan Garden, which represents Ontario, Canada. And then it's right next to the Chinese Garden. The Chinese Garden is actually the biggest one, and there's a strong relationship with Filipino-Chinese citizens because back at the American occupation, they're doing a lot of construction and they needed Chinese immigrants to do the carpentry work. So a lot of Chinese migrated over to this area.
Apparently there's still about 5,000 Chinese Filipinos living in Baguio City alone, and they're very pervasive within the restaurant industry here because they've got such a good background in cooking skills.
There are 12 statues here representing one for each month in the Chinese calendar year, and we're trying to find our statues that coordinates with the year we were born and seeing if it is accurate with our personality types.
I'm a dragon, and people born in the year of the dragon are healthy, energetic, excitable, short-tempered, and stubborn. They are also honest, sensitive, brave, and they inspire confidence and trust.
It's so true. He's so kind and soft-hearted, but also very stubborn and very smart, and he's sensitive and brave, and he's honest.
Look,
What?
they are compatible with rats, but I'm not compatible with rats. Snakes, monkeys, and roosters.
I'm a rooster! That's why we get along so. Come here, give your mommy a hug. We're entering Japan. We loved visiting Japan last year. And we're starting off with the Buddha Tunnel. And they have the beautiful and sacred torii gates.
Just past the Torii Gate, we have the Japanese tunnel over here. Normally it's open. It's not right now because there's a little bit of a danger factor because of the rain that they had recently. In fact, there was a typhoon here last week, which is why we aren't here last week. We had to postpone our trip just to come out here. That's also why when you look around the grounds here, it maybe doesn't look quite as floral and colorful as it usually does, because that typhoon took out a lot of the plants and the flowers that were here.
But this is a sacred tunnel here. Souls have lost their lives. During World War II, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, they simultaneously bombed Baguio City. So this is actually where the Japanese, after they occupied the Philippines, would hide from the Americans when the Americans came over and fought in the Philippines. So they would store their food, they would sleep here, and when the bombings occurred, like some of them lost their lives in this tunnel. This exact tunnel. Now, since World War II and in the more recent years, the Japanese government has been reaching out to the Philippines. They are repenting for the serious abuse that they caused the Filipino people during World War II, and they've become a really, really peaceful culture now. We absolutely love Japan. So we've touched on the high-level areas in the Botanical Gardens, but if you come here, you're gonna wanna take your time to just soak in the beauty of it. For us, we're gonna move on to our next activity though, which is just across the street.
Now, the main motivations for any country that has ever tried to take over the Philippines have been the 3 Gs: God, glory, and gold. But another one of the major products of Baguio is silver. So we're here at Pilak Silvercraft. Let's take a look inside.
They've crafted some really amazing jewelry here. In fact, every November they have the Creative Festival, and they have a contest between all of the jewelry makers in the city, and this piece in particular won first prize, and you can see why. This is absolutely stunning. So there's a gold version and the silver version, and I'm gonna try on the silver version. Thank you.
Now let's go downstairs to the workshop and see how they create some of these things.
Each one of these craftsmen are working on a bracelet. Now this one over here, it makes the wire, their silver wire, more round because it starts off with a little bit of an edge, kind of a square shape, and then they pull it through these tiny little holes that helps shape them and eliminate those edges. Makes them round. And now he flattens it. Paul's gonna give jewelry making a try. Oh, you can do it, buddy.
Okay.
And Brooklyn too. It's gonna be a family trade now.
He's making earrings right now. Maybe a flower from the looks of it.
It's actually a brand new design for them. So if you want to see the final product, you're gonna have to come here and check out their store because that's where they're gonna sell it from.
We're doing a quick pit stop just to check out the presidential mansion behind us. Now, this is actually a gorgeous building. This was a residence that was originally built as the summer residence for the Governor General back in 1908. So this was during the American occupation. And it remained such until about 1935, at which time it was then transitioned into a presidential residence for summer use only. Now, it remained a presidential summer residence until just a few months ago. So last year, 2023, that summer was the last time it was used for that purpose. Now it's just a museum. So we just made it in here within a couple of months.
It was actually the current First Lady that transitioned it into a museum, but not all First families actually stayed here. President Duterte wouldn't stay in the mansion because he swore he saw ghosts and he was too afraid to stay there.
And right through the main gate that's behind Aaron here, which by the way was modeled after Buckingham Palace, is Wright Park.
Because the practice was to always build parks along with government offices. I love this area. It's a street of vendors and lots of goodies. Colt has something very specific he wants to get if we come across it. But this is Mines View Park.
Okay, I already see the taho. Taho is like tapioca pearls with tofu and syrup, and it's super good. Can I do a normal, please?
Sugar thing. Is that?
Can I please get tapioca pearls with strawberry, please? Thank you.
The base is a tofu custard and it's served warm. So pretty. pretty. These are called everlasting flowers because they should be able to last forever as long as you store them properly. You need to keep them dry. A lot of distractions around here, lots to do. The kids spotted some horses. They are charging 50 pesos per kiddo for a photo, and we're gonna let them do it. But the reason why we really came to this area is for the view. There's a special spot here that is spectacular.
We mentioned before the 3 Gs that every country who has ever occupied the Philippines were after. The God, gold, and the glory. Well, right over here behind me is the representation of the gold. This is called Mines View for a specific reason. From up here you can see into all of these mountains around us where there are countless gold mines. Maybe a very few of them are still active. Most of them are not. But this landscape is littered with mine tunnels from where they used to dig for all of the gold.
Next up, we're going to the Baguio Country Club. It's a very exclusive establishment and the only 5-star country club. It's been here since 1905. The initiation fee is about 1 million pesos, and then there are annual dues on top of that. It was built by Cameron Forbes during the American occupancy. And right over there is a famous veranda where a lot of the higher up military personnel would discuss how to control the Philippines. So the Americans really did all their bidding from this station here at the country club, because it originally was not golf country club. It originally started as a croquet club, then turned into, I think, polo, and then merged with another golf course, and then now they have their own 18 holes here.
Actually, no polo. It went straight from croquet to a 3-hole golf course, and then finally they ended up with an 18-hole course here.
This is also the wedding destination for Baguio City.
We also just got a little clarification from one of the employees here that the initiation fee for the country club, we mentioned it being 1 million pesos, it's actually 1.5 million. But that is only for locals. Non-locals have to pay a varying amount, but it's about an average of 7 million pesos just for the initiation fee.
Since we're in the mountains, it's definitely a much cooler climate. It gets even colder at night, so we're gonna do something to warm us up.
Hello. Thank you. We are all about to try some very authentic hot chocolate, which is kind of what they're known for at this restaurant, hence the name. Chocolate de Batirol. And Batirol is this little guy right here, and it's what they use to stir the hot chocolate in the pitcher in the very traditional way. Now we've all gotten different flavors. I got coconut, of course.
Brooklyn clearly got marshmallow, Colt chose vanilla flavored, and I have hazelnut flavored. I love the hot chocolate in the Philippines. Some of the best hot chocolate I think I've had. We've been all over the world. We've had hot chocolate in Spain, Africa, but the Philippines, for some reason, like the cocoa nibs, I think, are just really special. We have 3 really traditional Filipino dishes. Sinigang, we're pretty familiar with. We have seafood or fish sinigang. Look at my little corrector. And we have dinuguan. Dinuguan, which is pork cooked with pig's blood, which I am super excited to try because I have once had Betamax, which is chicken blood, and I loved it. I thought it was delicious. And then we also have, it's like a beef stew. It's called caldereta. 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 I got it.
I'm starting off with a sinigang, and I'm starting off with a big old slice of eggplant. The eggplant pretty much just dissolved in my mouth, but the broth is incredible. All the veggies are so crisp, so fresh. It's a really good sinigang.
Sinigang has like a sweet, sour, tangy taste to it, and most of the flavor comes from the tamarind that they use in the broth. I have got to try this pig's blood stew. The pork in it, the meat, it's like shredded when you bite into it. It's like really good. It falls apart kind of. And then it doesn't have the same flavor that the Betamax had. I can't, if you didn't tell me there was blood in this, I wouldn't have known. It just tastes like shredded pork and a really nice sauce.
I have to try the caldereta. It looks like a slice of potato, ooh, and a pepper. Maybe a spicy chili pepper. It looks like an habanero, but I don't think so. Let's get a perfect bite with some potato, some chili pepper, and some beef. I think there's a little kick to that pepper. You didn't think so? Oh, that's really good. The beef is so tender, and the flavor is like a combination of salty and a little bit of sweet. There's got to be some kind of a sweet component to it. Super, super comfort food.
It's dessert time, and we've got some classics like turon, love turon, and bibinko, which is like a rice cake, and there's coconut on top, and then there is suman, which is a sticky rice. We love our sticky rice. We love all three of these things. I'm gonna start with the suman. And it's really warm. That is either brown sugar on top or maybe it's cocoa sugar. Really sweet and really yummy with the coconut too. And it's the same thing that they put in the hot chocolate over there. And this is the bibinka. I taste a ton of butter in it, so it is delicious, really good. And the king of street food desserts in the Philippines, the turon. It's banana wrapped in lumpia wrapper and deep fried real quick. It's not just banana in there, there's jackfruit also, and it's got that dark chocolate drizzle on top. Turon is the best.
Well, after that incredible dinner, I think that Brooklyn's gonna have us closing this restaurant down, playing two truths and a lie. But then we're gonna head back to the room. We're gonna crash because we got a really, really early start tomorrow. So we will see you then.
I think we all got a good night's sleep last night, and we're starting off early. I'm getting my coffee in quick before we head out. We've been non-stop since we've gotten here, so we're still gonna have to show you a good tour of this place when we get back, but Albert's already waiting for us, so we gotta head to the van.
So Albert, our driver, is already back here to pick us up this morning. We also have two guides this morning from Agationg. We've got Drake and we've got Art. Art's, I think, gonna be with us maybe both days, today and tomorrow. And all of this stuff was arranged by Guide to the Philippines. If you watch our channel at all, you know that we mention them a lot because we travel through them a lot. They are the booking platform for all of this. And if you want to repeat this experience, you can do it one of two ways. Number one is you can use our link in the description so that you can book the entire package, inclusive of breakfasts and the transfers from Manila, the lodging, of course. The other way is to do it more a la carte, where you can book the lodging that you want to have. You can do tours based on personal preferences and maybe a self-drive rental car, whereas again, we have Albert, our driver, who's taking care of us for the entire trip. Either way, we've got links for both of those things in the description.
This is Drake, and Art's already in the van.
Hi, Drake. Good morning. There you go.
We've got about an hour and a half drive ahead of us. We're heading to Atok Gardens, and we're gonna see the Northern Light Gardens, and it's gonna be a gorgeous view. This drive is also gonna be a great opportunity for the kids to get a little bit more sleep if they need it.
I couldn't really get a good shot of this from inside of the van, so we had to pull over. But there's a part of the highway right here that was actually carved out of the rock face. It's a 50-meter long section. It's called the half tunnel because they had to carve right into it so that you could actually drive. They basically had to move the entire road over after the 1968 typhoon Trinning took out a huge chunk of the road, just washed it away, as you can see over the edge here.
And it was really important that they got this new road made and going because there's a lot of copper in these hills over here. So all the copper mines that provide the copper for the area had to be able to transport and get through into Baguio and the other major cities. Now we're only 10-15 minutes away.
We have made it to the Mount Olis viewpoint. We're at 7,900 feet, which is substantially higher in elevation than where we came from. Incidentally, right over there, you can literally see Baguio from here. But that's about 5,000 feet. And coincidentally, 5,000 feet is about the same elevation as our home in the USA. But we're in the municipality of Atok, and we're in the province of Benguet. This is known as the salad bowl of the Philippines, and for good reason. As you look around, it's all of these vegetable terraces for almost as far as the eye can see. There's carrots, there's cabbage, they grow broccoli here, they grow potatoes here, and of course some strawberries too that we'll be seeing later today.
And it's so beautiful up here. You can see the ocean. I did not realize that Baguio and Benguet and this province was that close to the water. There's also some gorgeous flowers that are grown here. The kids are all the way up there with our guide Art, learning about the flora and fauna. It's notable that there are no rice terraces. With all the terraces here that they grow, there's no rice. It's all just veggies, really good veggies. We're gonna trek up here just a little bit higher and see if we can find those kids of ours.
Some strawberries right here, although these are not yet in bloom, or whatever you call it.
Oh my goodness! You are now standing at Mount Oli's summit. Whew, and I feel it. I feel the altitude for sure. It's just stunning from every angle. There used to be a huge tree right here, and the Olis birds used to come and sit on it, so that's why they call this Mount Olis. These plants are called Dara Dara. They're also known as blood leaves, and that's because of the red pigment. It kind of looks like blood, but in the ancient times of yesteryear, they would break down this leaf until that pigment came out, and then they would use it as blush and lipstick. A little blush here. All organic, natural makeup.
Here you go, honey bunny. We just drove down the hill about 2 or 3 minutes, and this is Franklin Heights' former residence. Now, Franklin Heights was an American who was living here during the same World War II era, and he ended up moving up here because he had tuberculosis, and his doctors advised him to get higher in altitude for better air quality. Now, the house behind us is currently like a vacation rental. It's a bed and breakfast of sorts, so you can come here and stay if you want to. There's another one just down the hill a little bit farther, same story there, but it's still a working farm, and it's still owned by Franklin Heights descendants.
This is Franklin Heights right here. And then this is his wife. She was full-blooded Igorot, which is the native tribe in this area. If you ever want to see sakura trees in full bloom, you don't have to go to Japan. This is the only place in the Philippines where they have it. They actually have a sakura park right up there, and they're not in bloom now, so we can't see those beautiful pink flowers. Around March, April is when they bloom. We're at Northern Blossoms, and I think I said Northern Lights earlier. What a dingbat. But it's Northern Blossoms. We're gonna see a ton of flowers here. As we mentioned yesterday, the typhoon that came through here affected this area quite a bit and wiped out a lot of the flowers. They're about 80% in bloom right now, so we are gonna see some beautiful flowers, but just not 100% like they normally operate.
And more succulents.
These plants right here are cabbage roses. So look at that one, looks like a total cabbage. And that one looks like a total rose, like an English rose. They're edible but not recommended to eat because they're very bitter, but you won't die. They are what made this farm famous because a Chinese photographer came here when it really just was a farm, it wasn't a tourist attraction, and he took some incredible photos with the cabbage roses, and I can imagine like the background, it's just so stinking stunning here. And it went viral, and now it's become a tourist attraction.
You can really see a lot of the damage that was done by the typhoon. Well, even with the typhoon damage, the flower terraces are absolutely beautiful, but we've been at it for a little bit more than 4 hours already, so our next stop is going to be lunch.
The restaurant is Our Northern Coffee House, and the main restaurant is a little bit further down the hill. We're up higher, so we have a much better vantage point. I mean, the theme of this day are great views. So the servers have a traditional Igorot clothing on, and this home is owned by an Igorot family. Just one of their many specialties is coffee, so I'm having a vanilla latte. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. I mean, there is just very few things that's better than sipping your coffee with a gorgeous view and just taking your time to have a gratitude moment and appreciate where you are.
Thank you. And another specialty is their strawberry shakes. Let's try it. Tastes tastes really fresh and natural.
Strawberries are a really big deal around here. There are a ton of strawberry farms, which we ideally would have gone to, but it's not strawberry season. They're not ready yet, so we wouldn't have been able to pick any. But if you come here, I think after December, that is going to be strawberry picking time.
But they do have a strawberry field right out back here, so if it was in season, we'd be able to pick there. But the entire area is just ideal for agriculture. The climate here, I mean, probably a good chunk of the vegetables, maybe even some of the fruits that we have in Manila come from here. It's such a big supplier to the rest of the area.
They've brought out some hot fried spring rolls. They're vegetable and some pork inside of them, and we are supposed to dip them in this vinegar. They're pretty hot, so I'm gonna be careful. Excuse me. Look at the steam coming out of it. These veggies, they really look super duper fresh. Never frozen, right from the ground. That's how I want to eat my vegetables, fresh like this.
Those vegetables are actually phenomenal. Look inside there.
What a feast! Oh my gosh! Holy smokes, we are in for the biggest treat. We have chop suey with quail eggs, and then we have tuno, which is pork, and then we've got white rice, of course, because it goes with everything. And then we have kiniing, which is a smoked pork, and it looks amazing. And another pork dish, dinitakan. Now the non-pork dish we're gonna have is dessert, and we have turon again, and this one is a cheese turon. Their kiniing is what they're known for here. That's their specialty. Kiniing. There's no L. Oh my gosh, there's more. They just brought out some pancit, which it's like a noodle dish. It's like Chinese noodles, lo mein, kind of like spaghetti also. It's like the Filipinos pasta.
And I'm gonna try a little bite. Ooh, it's like ramen.
This is like a pork tour, but I am rushing through because I cannot wait to try that turon.
Okay, babe, how many do you want?
Just one.
Cheese-filled turon.
Finally, turon. Now, I smell banana. I think it is cheese and banana in here. Definitely banana. That is the yummiest, crunchiest, easiest, chewiest, most delicious turon. The turon is my new favorite. Of everything we've been served, turon, it's a spot. This is, honestly, the best turon. I'm so full of turon. I had 3 of those. I'm gonna be full for a while, which is a good thing. We have a nice long break at our Tudor cottage, so we are gonna give you that tour we promised. Welcome back to Tudor in the Pines. So we have this nice little apartment, is what it feels like, all to ourselves. This main area is kind of like the living room, the kitchen, the dining room. Let me show you the kitchen. They have 2 little burners, so you could cook here if you wanted to. The refrigerator, microwave, toaster oven, a rice cooker, water kettle, a coffee maker. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that you could use to make your own food here.
2 years ago on our other channel, we did a really cool walkthrough of a house in Florence that we called the Museum House because it actually felt like you were inside of an art museum. So many similarities with this place. Number one, the concrete floors, which I love because they're absolutely bulletproof and they're stylish. They even extended it in the kitchen here onto the countertop, which is a waterfall edge concrete, so it's got that very industrial look. The walls here, exterior walls anyway, are all concrete, like so much of the stuff in the Philippines is, painted white, covered in original artwork, just like that place in Florence. And then a lot of the trim stuff, like here in the kitchen and around the corner in the bathroom area. And then trim areas, everything from the kitchen cabinets and walls to around the corner in the wet area for the toilet rooms and the bathroom and the shower. Those are all painted black, so you get this really cool artistic contrast with those things.
You could easily sit 6 or maybe even 7 people at the dining table, and there's also an extra chair if you want to squeeze more in. And this couch over here, you've got a TV, so you could watch a little television, but you also have a big bag of games, so you can play some family games. And there's a nice papasan chair, love saying that word, papasan, right by these large windows, floor to ceiling, and you've got a gorgeous view of the garden down here. I mean, they really, really went all out on this English garden theme. Not just outside, but also inside. So many plants all over the apartment here.
As we mentioned yesterday, there are 6 total units here, and we can see a few of them from where we are right now. In fact, the 2 tree houses are directly in front of us. You don't really have to worry about privacy. There are curtains across all of these, so you can block those out if you want to, and I'm sure that the people who are staying in the tree houses would be doing the same. But nobody else was here yesterday. I'm not sure if anyone has checked in today. The cool little bridge that you walk on to get over there makes it an adventure to stay in those. But they're only for 2 people each, and obviously with our family of 4 right now, we needed someplace bigger. So this one's perfect. Erin's gonna show you the bathroom area, and then we'll go take a look at those bedrooms.
There's only one bathroom area, and I call it an area because there are 3 different doors. This first one is the shower, and we have a nice full-length mirror here. This is a toilet, and this door is also a toilet, and then this is our only bathroom sink, so we're all sharing this space here. All the bedrooms are back here past the front door. The first one is Brooklyn's room. She's got a little 4 on it. Hello, darling. Classic teenager. She's got a whole king-size bed, so she can slay in that. This is where Phil and I are staying. And I just discovered, like moments ago, that when you pull the curtains back here, it's a glass wall, and you have this beautiful painting behind us, and it's even reflected on the mirror on this side. So much light comes in this room, and I love this painting. That bright green, such a happy color.
It should be noted, I don't think there's a single print in this entire home. It seems to all be original artwork and really nice stuff. Now, both of the bedrooms, by the way, have these sliding barn doors. Barn doors are a bit of a theme in this place. Barn doors for the entrance for this bedroom and for Brooklyn's, as you saw. Barn doors for the closet, so they slide open and you have full access. Really cool industrial kind of feel to those.
But that is actually the stairway to the 3rd bedroom where Colt's staying. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Do you like your room down here, bud?
Yes, it's very cozy.
Now, it might seem like Colt is down here in the basement, but that's not the case. In fact, I think this might be ground level, or maybe even still 1 level up. I think it's ground level, so the rest of us are just up higher.
So all 3 bedrooms have a king-size bed. And that's it for the inside. I wanna go out and check out the garden out there. Well, we already saw the parakeets, but right past our little entrance to our units, this stairway is just to our unit. The garden makes kind of a circle around the house, so we are gonna start over here, and we're gonna end up right back where we were right there. It's really pretty. I feel like I wanna stop and like absorb all of it. It's really clear that flowers are really important in Baguio, and I'm actually not sure of exactly why. Last night Jen told us that the governor of the area really loves flowers, it's important to him, but it almost seems so ingrained in their culture that it would go back further than that. But it's also the rich soil here is perfect for vegetation. Everything here that grows is beautiful. We're right under one of the tree houses. This picnic area, it's a common area. Anybody, all of the guests could come down here. You could barbecue out here and have dinner, lunch, breakfast in the middle of the garden. This is another common area, and it kind of overlooks the garden a little bit more because we're a little bit higher up on a deck. It's kind of like a maze, but you end up here right next to our unit entrance. Now, we're gonna go up the tower so we can show you the viewpoint spot from this property. Feels like we're up in a tower. And how cute is this little hammock? You could either watch the sun set or the sun rise, depending on the weather, of course. And we are hoping for really good weather tonight. We don't want it to rain because Phil and I are planning on going to the night market in Baguio, but only if it's dry. That is just a few hours away, so we're gonna rest up before that. We're at the Baguio night market, and it is a very late night market. They are only opening at 9 p.m., which is why the kids are not with us. They're at home. They're gonna get to bed early tonight because we woke up really early this morning. So they're gonna get a good night's sleep while Phil and I have a date evening.
Yes, we've hooked back up with Jendelle from last night and her assistant, Jen, and they're gonna show us everything that we have to explore here. Our very first experience here is in the thrift area. This is called Ukay Ukay. And it's where they're gonna have all sorts of thrift clothing and other gear.
Colt's gonna wish that he came because they've got gold chains. He's really into gold chains lately.
And Reagan and Brooklyn actually are gonna wish they were here because they both love thrifting.
It's open 7 days a week, rain or shine, and they shut down Harrison Road about 8 p.m. so that they can start setting up for it. A lot of these clothes are repurposed, so they're, you know, kind of one of a kind, unique. You have to really go through them to find what you want. They're not gonna have size options for you. So a lot of people come here for the clothing shopping.
Even though we're about 3 minutes past opening time, it is already very crowded. It's a very popular part of Baguio nightlife here.
You can tell they've had a lot of practice setting up their tents because like 3 minutes ago, they were pretty much empty and just starting, and they just popped up and now they're ready to sell.
Seems like the vast majority of things here range from 100 to 200 pesos, somewhere in the middle there. And I see some pants that remind me of something Brooklyn might like, so I want to take a look at them.
I'm not sure if they're gonna have her size. Yeah, that's way too big. And those might be too small. All right, we're gonna keep looking. I don't think they have her size here. Phil and I have skipped dinner. We haven't eaten yet, so we're gonna go check out the food stalls and see if there's anything fun for us to eat. There are so many stalls here. I feel like there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, and it's a long block. And there are a lot of familiar foods like kwek kwek, balut. Colt has actually been asking for balut lately, so he's gonna be sad he missed it. Tangulu. But hopefully we can find something that we haven't tried yet.
Hey, there's a corn booth here, and we love all things corn, but I especially love corn as a dessert. And they have something called binatog that we haven't tried before. Apparently it's corn and milk and sugar, so it sounds to me like it might be a similar flavor profile to maybe a maíz con hielo, which I love. So let's try it.
And I'm gonna get cheese corn. Cheese corn? Yes, cheese corn and a binatog. Small.
Sweet corn, Japanese.
Thank you.
So,
How much?
50. What? Thank you.
Thank you.
It's so warm. It's like hot in my hands to hold. So again, I got the cheese corn, and that's a huge chunk of butter they put on there too. So much more savory than what Phil got. It looks like they used a powdered cheddar for it. You know what I like about this? It's not canned corn. It is off of the cob right there. So they're roasting the corn on the cob on the grill right there. And that's what they're using. They're cutting it off. So it's like the freshest, kind of crunchiest corn.
I gotta say, I kind of want to try Aaron's, but hands are full. Yeah, this is very light corn. It looks almost like, what did you call it?
Hominy?
Hominy. Yeah, it looks like hominy. And obviously a little bit of sugar that he put on there, but then, what was that? Sweetened condensed milk? Steaming hot, steaming hot. Same flavor profile indeed as maíz con hielo, but very different texture. And obviously it's very warm, so none of the ice cream frozen goodness, but that's really, really good. Now he asked when we ordered it if we wanted it sweet or salty, right? You said sweet or savory? And we said sweet because that's what we were expecting, but now I'm wondering what the alternative would be like. It's a lot of the condensed milk, so it's almost like eating a chunky soup. It's got the texture of a New England clam chowder.
Yeah, it's interesting that they use the white corn for this. I gotta say, I like my savory, cheesy corn better. But it is good.
Let's keep trying other stuff. Jen's got a whole cup full of awesome goodness here, and Esau is one of Brooklyn and Colt's favorites. And then Betamax. And then this one's pork intestine, and what is it called? Iso ng baboy.
Came from
The flavor is really good. I expected the texture of a sausage in slices, but it's more like the flavor of a roasted tomato. very soft.
They have babinka. We had that last night, but this one is ube. Okay, I am having such a hard time figuring out what I want to eat, so I actually want to do something familiar to me. I want some takoyaki. Jindal says this one's the best. Now, typically you find it with octopus, but they have ham and cheese, and that sounds so good. I hope this isn't too hot because my mouth is still recovering from that corn. They put a cheese sauce all over it and seaweed on top. This is comfort food. I love it with the ham and cheese. It's almost like a Spanish twist.
I'm trying to think of the last time I had one of these. Takoyaki. Osaka? Osaka. Don't fall apart, don't fall apart. What I really like about this is the way they cook them. A lot crunchier on the outside because that's what I've always wanted from takoyaki. And they end up too often being kind of squishier in texture. And it always disappoints me a little bit, but I love that this one's got a nice crunch on the outside because they cooked it longer.
This market is lively, but sadly, I'm not very lively. I feel like I'm too old to stay up this late. Is that sad? But I'm glad that we got a bite to eat. We definitely needed dinner, and we wanted to see the night market. I think that the night markets, the food stalls are one of my favorite things about traveling. So I'm glad we got to experience it here in Baguio City. But we're not done experiencing Baguio City. We have another tour in the morning. So we're gonna get some sleep, and we'll see you then. Good morning, it's breakfast time, and breakfast is included with this package we have from Guide to the Philippines, the package we booked with them. It's from House of Yogurt, which is a nearby restaurant. They delivered it right to our room this morning. And the kids got French toast. Oh, that looks good. And Phil and I got some omelets. We have special transportation this morning, so we're gonna eat up, and our tour guides are already here waiting for us, so we're gonna catch up with them as soon as we finish. Check this out! Oh my gosh, this is the coolest jeepney I think we have ever seen. We've ridden in a jeepney just one time before this, but nothing this cool and extravagant. It's totally custom painted. And this is gonna be our ride for this half-day tour that we're doing with our tour guides today. That is so beautiful. So on the Jeep, they've painted the different garbs, the different color, tribal colors for their outfits, representing, I think there are 6 different ones. And that is a painting of Apawang Odd. We almost went and got tattoos by her one time, but we couldn't get that trip to work out for us. So we're gonna still do that another time. This is awesome. All right, let's get this tour going.
Again, this was all put together by Agat Yang Travel and Tours. And once again today, we've got our guide with us, Art.
Yes, so good morning. So we'll be using the customized jeepney for our tour this time. This is more on the culture and traditions of the Cordillerans. So Agat Yang came from the word, the name of the Igorot name of the father of Jen, and Jennifer's Igorot name is Suligmay.
I was gonna ask where the name came from. Culture and arts, let's go. This is a sweet ride.
And we have a different driver today with this jeepney. It's Robert. We'll see Albert later. What a way to ride. We have arrived at Tam-awan, and it is an open art museum.
That jeepney's way cooler than the one we rode back in Manila, mostly because it's a personal one.
Yeah, I agree. Well, they customized it quite a bit, and the seats are really nice, like new leather. It's very comfortable. Hey, Cole, look at the lizard. Geckos are actually their lucky charm here. It means long life and health.
This is a rice granary called an alang, and it is where they would do their rice agriculture back in the day. Once it was harvested, they would put it in here, and then they would guard that harvest with these little statues in here that, this one has 2 because of the size of the granary, but these are called bulu. So they would either have 1 of these god statues or 2, depending on the size of the granary.
There are 3 guys in there.
What?
Yep.
One was hiding around the corner. It must be a really big granary.
Different shapes with the grass roofs. Those are Kalinga huts, and this one over here is a gallery inside. It's got some artwork. We're gonna go look at it. I have to remove my shoes before going inside. Oh wow, that's really cool. These are all different artists and different styles, and they're all local. This one over here is my favorite. I just think the curves are beautiful. Looks like a native woman. I'll meet you back outside. I like that. That's a really unique way to display art. So the art gallery hut is rectangular shaped, which means that it's for a lower class family, a middle class family. But this one is for an upper class family. It's called a bindayon, and it has 8 sides. 10 people could live in this hut together, and since this is a hut that would be for the wealthiest person in the village, they have this gathering out here, the stone chairs. It's for the men to sit around and, you know, make decisions. And then this pit in the middle is for cooking, so it's a gathering place around the wealthiest family in the village.
We're ducking into the cafeteria because we want to try some of this famous rice wine that they have here. Do you want to try some, babe?
Let's sip, yeah.
Okay, good, because they have 2 glasses. So it's called Tapwe. Ooh, it's purple. Ooh, tastes really good. Tastes kind of effervescent. I get that with some wines and people say I'm crazy, but it tastes like it's a little bit bubbly, but it's not. Very, very fruity. What gives it the flavor besides rice?
I think the rice itself.
Yeah?
Yes, because we use the black rice.
What? Oh, black rice.
Yes.
So there's no grapes?
No grapes.
So the purple comes exclusively from the black rice.
The black rice.
I have to say it's really good.
It really smells like wine from grapes. That's so crazy. I like it so much. It almost has, I mean, Phil's totally right with the effervescence. It almost has like a little bit of a vinegar taste, like a little tiny bit, but I like it so much. That's really, really cool.
Fermented for 1 month, and the longer you ferment it, the more flavor it has. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Blackwood. And this is
Cheat.
How you doing? Pleasure, Phil.
Well, this is Cheat. He is in charge of the museum. And this space is to support and promote the indigenous artists in the area. Every October is Indigenous Month, and so they have a festival every year, and they just finished up. So they have a lot of art and stuff that they have on display from it. I love how natural and open and how they use the landscape for the museum. And we found ourselves at the tip end of the lizard tail. We've come full circle. Now we're going back to the get-go. Bye, thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Our last museum and lunch spot is Ililika. So it's a really cool building, the way they did the architecture with the tree. They incorporated the tree into the building, and you can see all the glass. I'm hoping and wondering if it's recycled glass, but it looks like a piece of artwork itself. We're gonna eat here. Ili means town, and Lika means artwork, so it's town artwork. This is so cool. We're gonna explore the restaurant a little bit. It's both simultaneously the restaurant, and it's actually different restaurants all in one, and different nooks for artists. The artist who created this space is Kidlat Tahimik. I had to read that because of the pronunciation. He wanted to send a message. This is his theater. He did a lot of film art. And his message at the entrance to his theater is, this is the goddess of wind, and she's blowing away American colonialism, because this represents Marilyn Monroe, and she's got the wind blowing up her skirt, and so he's saying, blow away American colonialism, because he wants to preserve the indigenous culture here. He has a number of really successful films, and he's won several awards at the Cannes Film Festival. But since he is anti-American colonialism, he's kind of anti-Hollywood in that style of where sex sells and violence sells. So his films are really about culture. They're very inspiring. There's one in particular movie that he made about the first Balikbayan. I think it's called Balikbayan 1, and it's about one of Magellan's slaves. He was from Ifugao, And he was really the first one to complete circumnavigation around the world because Magellan had passed away, but he was the one that actually was able to return back to Europe, and then he returned back to the Philippines. And some of that is in this room because they have him represented in the carved wood over there, and he's got his little spy piece looking out to the Ifugao hut over there. So it represents him on the sea, kind of coming back to home, the first balikbayan. We're gonna check out some of the nooks that they have here. They're all different for different artists, and he charges very little rent for them to be here so that they can thrive. And I was right, they are recycled bottles. In fact, so much of the material in here are recycled materials. He was an environmentalist, and I really love that about this place. And not just that they use so much recycled materials, but the natural elements with the tree. And I just think this is the coolest restaurant.
One of my favorite little stations in here so far is Segundo's leather craft station. So he makes wallets, and I don't know if we've ever really shown much of Colt's work, but he would be fascinated by this. But he's downstairs playing video games with Angelo in Brooklyn right now. But beautiful work. And can we see what you're doing over here real quick?
This is called tooling or leather carving.
That seems pretty therapeutic since it's like a repetitive motion over and over again. It might be why Colt loves leather making so much. I think some of our food has arrived, so let's get back to the table. Seems like we each ordered something from different restaurants, but I've got a classic Filipino sisig. It's banga sisig. But this is our last stop on all of our tours in Baguio, and I feel like we've really come full circle and we've learned so much. I mean, Jen and her team have been phenomenal. And it really makes me appreciate the history that Baguio has here. And something that I don't want to forget to mention is the significance that Baguio has with World War II. That also is a full circle because World War II really began with them bombing Baguio at the same time as they bombed Pearl Harbor, like we mentioned before, but it also ended in Baguio because Yamashito, the Japanese general, he was captured a little bit up north, and he came down and signed the surrender papers here in Baguio, which ended the war in Asia during World War II.
Well, that wraps up a marathon adventure throughout Baguio, our very first time here, and it was a very perfect special one, largely because of our friend Jen here.
Hi! Hello!
Agad Young Travel and Tours, responsible again for everything that we did while we were here. Art, Drake, Jindel, and of course Jen. All of those experiences were from her company, which is an absolute perfect way to experience Baguio for yourself if you're coming into town. We also have to thank, of course, Toyota Mobility Solutions for not just the rental car that brought us here and taking us home and all around, but also for providing us with a private driver to take care of all those in a chauffeured fashion.
Also, thank you to Tudor in the Pines. Our place was wonderful. We were so comfortable with our 3-bedroom unit that they have. And then you can book everything on Guide to the Philippines website. It's so easy to do. You just go to their homepage, you can search for packages, you can search for tours, activities, even flights. So just go check it out and explore on your own. We're also gonna provide a link in the description for this exact package that we're doing so you can copy our exact trip. Now, I would like you to like and subscribe if you haven't already because Phil is going to send you off with a sleigh.
Slay. Did I nail it?
Yeah. Come in, I promise. Come in.
Can I see it from here?
No, you can't. It's in the cave and it's scary. I hate it.
A real bug?
Yes! It moved!
Brooklyn says she found a bug that is this big and it has wings. Sounds like a bat.
It's a spider? Spider. But it has wings. It has wings. It has
Careful, baby.
It has wings. Dad, it has wings.
Fun. Huntsman spider.
Yeah, it's a family of spiders.
It's a family! What?
No, just one.
Oh my gosh.
I tend to fib.
Yeah. I mean, he likes to make
You're
things
like
up.
drunk history.
Because President Duterte,
Duterte.
President Duterte,
Duterte.
President Duterte.
Actually, no polo. It went straight from croquet to a 3-hole golf course. I can see your reflection in the lens, Brooklyn.
Mine?
It's called caldereta.
Caldereta.
Caldereta. Caldereta. Caldereta. Caldereta.
They're laughing. Caldereta.
Caldereta.
Correct. Caldereta.
Caldereta.
Yeah.
I got it. That was the first try. We're at Northern Blooms. I think I said. Oh my god. We're at Northern Blossoms, and she's just being Riz and Sigma and TikToking. Hi. Hello. Yeah.
You just did.
She just did. Welcome to our channel.